What's up, guys? It's Reuben from BookCleaningJobs. If you don't know Damon from NCAP Store, then you're missing out. Damon's a great guy. He can help you out with all your chemicals and equipment needs when it comes to low moisture carpet cleaning. Even if you're a steam cleaner and you're not sure about low moisture, Damon is still a good guy to know. He puts on an amazing event called NCAPalooza. I just attended it a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas. I'm planning to attend again next year. Anyways, I sat down recently and talked with Damon from NCAP Store, and we talked all about how you can book more jobs for your cleaning business, what kind of marketing is working right now. That's over on his YouTube channel, and I thought I would post a video here for you to watch on my channel as well. So go check out ncapstore.com if you need low moisture carpet cleaning equipment, chemicals. Hit up Damon if you need any help with that. Go check out his channel. He's here on YouTube, NCAP Store. I'll tag him in the description below. But listen to our conversation, see what we had to say, and hopefully this will help you if you want to book more jobs this year for your cleaning business. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll chat with you later.
Reuben, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Dan? How are you doing, Dan?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us. A little chaotic getting this going, but we're live. Hopefully, some more people will join us. If not, there'll be a replay, and we can always do this again in the future. But you're starting to gain traction out there as a person that can help cleaners get more calls, convert more calls, everything that matters in terms of building the bottom line, building revenue. Give us a little bit of background on who you are, where you started, and what got you where you are now.
Sure. My name is Reuben. I run a company called BookCleaningJobs. Basically, we're a marketing agency for cleaners. And I got my start really in marketing, to be honest with you. I've been in marketing for 20 plus years. I've owned online businesses and that kind of thing. But somewhere in the middle of my corporate career, I got bored with the white collar job and the 9 to 5 and all that. So I actually bought a carpet cleaning business. It was a brand new franchise territory. Figured they would have the systems to help me start up a business and get something going for myself. One of the big systems that was missing in that new franchise territory, though, was marketing. And so that was convenient for me because I could take my marketing background and use it in the cleaning business. So that's what I did. I ran that business for about 5.5 years and then sold it and have been working with cleaners pretty much ever since then. And that's the short story, basically. But I've been
Right.
helping cleaners for a few years now. Even since I had my cleaning business, I was working with a number of cleaners back then as well.
Yeah, you've built a really good reputation, and a lot of people are using your services, and you don't really put yourself out there like in a shill kind of way. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like some of the people
I
do
try
might be
not to.
considered gurus and stuff like that. And I really respect that. And I appreciate the way you conduct yourself. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
I
let's
try
get
to
to the
keep it
main.
real.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about how people can get, I guess it'll be a two-part conversation. The first part would be, how do they get the phone to ring? So in this modern landscape, we have Facebook ads, we have Google, we have Thumbtack, we have old venues like Craigslist or even Valpak. What are some of the more modern or current ways to get more calls, and what are your thoughts on those platforms? Let's start with Facebook.
Yeah. I like Facebook. I think Facebook's a good ad platform. It's not typically where I tell cleaners to put their money first.
Mhm.
If you are looking to get started with some sort of a paid ad campaign, I think your money is better spent on Google, myself.
Mhm.
But Facebook ads do work. I watch cleaners run Facebook ads all the time. We run some Facebook ads for cleaners, and they certainly do work. But I think in terms of return on investment and bringing in high quality customers that are ready to book, I think you really just can't beat Google. But that said, there's a place for Facebook. If you are spending money online, if you're spending money marketing your carpet cleaning business online, then Facebook is definitely one of the top channels where you might want to spend some ad dollars. So nothing wrong with
Yeah.
Facebook.
No, but Facebook is becoming more of a consumable platform, right? Or almost commodity, I should say, where people aren't necessarily looking for the best cleaner, looking for the best price.
They're looking
And
for the
that
best
seems to be
deal. Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
that can be tough. I know you can target your ads and do things that can maybe help you get to a better area, but in general, though, you're going after people that are looking for deals.
Yeah. That's been our experience too, is if you don't lead with a strong offer or discount or something like that to really grab people's attention, then your Facebook ads may not perform as somebody else who's willing to do deep discounts. So if your business is not built around doing discounts or coupons or specials, then Facebook ads may not be the best place for you. But
Sure.
you can still get some traction on Facebook if you're willing
Yeah.
to make deals.
If you're willing to make deals and have the ability to build up tickets in the home, that's
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah.
All right. Thumbtack, Angie's List. Any thoughts on those? Are those still relevant?
Yeah, I would say less so these days. I know there's some big fans of Angie out there. There's a handful of cleaners that I've talked to who do really well on Angie. That was not my experience. I worked with Home Advisor before Angie's List bought them and they became Angie. I spent about I don't know, $6,000 on Home Advisor back in the day, and I think I brought back in about $6,000. So after you subtract all my expenses, I lost money on that one. I think your average experience on a platform like Angie or even Yelp or Thumbtack, it really is gonna depend on your response rate and how quickly you can get to these leads when they request a quote. You're gonna be duking it out with other cleaners who are getting the same lead as you. So it really is like a battle to get to the customer fastest, to give them the best price in a lot of cases, and then to be available and do the job right away. You can make money on these platforms. I'm not saying that you can't, but again, I think there's probably better places to put your money. Thumbtack has changed a lot over the years. I used to be a big advocate of Thumbtack, and I used it quite a bit when I first started my company back in 2015. And we were really successful with it. The credits back then didn't cost very much. The booking rates were really high. So we would respond to a lot of leads on Thumbtack and book a lot of jobs. But their cost structures changed over time. And I've heard from fewer and fewer cleaners that they're having success with Thumbtack.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was gonna mention Yelp, you got to that one already. Yelp is very controversial. They're spending a lot of money and, yeah, they get the reviews either banned or removed or
Yeah.
and that's another tough one. Very tough.
Yeah. I hesitate to even say anything about Yelp because Yelp, I love you guys. I'm not here to smack talk Yelp, but I think Yelp is a difficult game to play. If you're gonna spend money on paid Yelp ads, you need to be responsive as heck. You need to be really fast getting back to those leads. And again, you're gonna be fighting with other cleaners to try to win those jobs. I think there's better platforms out there. Some people have a lot of success on Yelp. I will say that having talked with some and worked with some house cleaners, I have heard from house cleaners that they've had more success on Yelp on average than a lot of the carpet cleaners that I've talked to. And so I don't know if there's something industry specific there that's going on. But and then I've also heard regionally that Yelp is better in some regions, but not as good in other regions. Yeah. So we got somebody here who says they do really well with Yelp and they have 200 reviews. But the reviews matter, right? If you're going to play the Yelp game or the Angie game or any of these platforms, it's not gonna help you to have a bunch of reviews on Google. It will help you a little, but, like, people are looking on Angie, they're looking on Yelp, they wanna see reviews on those platforms, and if you don't have them, you're not gonna stand out compared to the competition. If you have 200 reviews on Yelp, man, yeah, you're gonna stand out on Yelp. You're probably gonna book more jobs than average. If you're gonna invest in these platforms, definitely ask the customers that you book from those platforms. If you book someone on Yelp, ask them to leave you a review on Yelp. If you book somebody on Angie, get them to review on Angie. That's probably the best thing you could do there, but yeah, hit or miss.
And yeah, and I think Yelp, as I say really quick, it's also it depends on the size of your city, the size of your market. If you show up organically in the Yelp results,
Yeah,
I think that's a huge edge. You know
it
what
is.
I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If somebody's searching in Google
Yep.
and they'll have a Yelp result and you're able to show up on that page and they click it, whether you're paid or not. Yeah, I think you really don't have much control over that. Just you're at the
Yeah.
mercy of the algorithm, and
That
that's what
was,
gives some people an advantage.
yeah, that was an advantage that I had with my business too. We didn't mean to collect reviews on Yelp, but we just had enough customers coming in that we started to get a handful of reviews on Yelp in our area. And after our first year and a half or 2 years in business, we were the number one rated on Yelp in our area with only 25 or 30 reviews. It didn't take
Mhm.
much. And that was nice because when people searched on Google for carpet cleaning near me or carpet cleaning Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is where I was at, we obviously were running ads. Our Google business profile was showing up, our website was showing up, but Yelp always shows up for those terms. Like Yelp's list of the top cleaners in the area, it's almost always on the first page of Google. And if you're the number one cleaner on that list, then hey man, that might as well just be another listing for you. Yelp's just making you look good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And James Marsh, who I know, he's in Oregon. You need to turn off Yelp messages and direct them to your website. That way, you aren't competing with others. But it's actually a very good strategy. That kind of removes a lot of the price shoppers, I would assume.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good idea. Before we get to Google, I want to ask you one more thing. SEO. What are your thoughts on SEO? The importance of SEO and how
Yeah.
that plays into your short and long term business plan.
I think you should still include SEO in your long-term business plans. The SEO world is changing rapidly right now, mostly I think because of AI. Google probably has their first real competitors in maybe ever with some of the AI companies right now. So I will say that SEO has been a core part of our strategy when we work with cleaners. We want to include SEO along with the paid ads because if you're bringing in paid customers all day long and you don't have any organic traffic coming to your site, if you don't have any referrals, if you don't have any repeat business, then it gets very expensive to just acquire new customers all day. If you have organic traffic coming in, whether from your Google business profile, you can do local SEO to try to improve your Google business profiles ranking. If you're working on your website and trying to improve your website's SEO, there is money to be made there. From what I'm seeing, though, fewer and fewer clicks are going to the organic listings on Google. More and more clicks are going to either paid listings or map listings on Google. So
Yeah,
I would take a look at your Google business profile.
sure. Now, you make a good point about that because if you go to Google search now, whether it be on a desktop or a phone, the whole front page is littered with sponsored ads,
Yeah.
local service ads, maps, like you mentioned. There's very few results now that generate something that's just organic, particularly in the service industry, whether it be carpet cleaning, maid service, pressure washing, HVAC, plumbing, doesn't matter. You're just going to get a lot of ads. You're going to get a lot of local service ads, etc. So if you have a moment, break down the different options on Google. I know there's local service ads, there's maps, but explain that to us in a little more detail, please.
Yeah. So Google has a couple of different ways that you can get your cleaning business in front of people who are searching for carpet cleaning near me or carpet cleaning and then whatever city you live in. I would start with Google Business Profile. That's really the free way to start. You can go register for a profile on Google if you don't already have one, verify it, start getting customers to leave you a review on there. Those profiles are incredibly powerful. Don't think that because it's free that it's not valuable. I watch cleaners regularly book more jobs through their Google Business Profile than they do through their website. I watch cleaners grow businesses with nothing but a Google Business Profile and without ever having a website. And then later circling back to add a website. So Google Business Profile is one of the ways that you can show up on Google. That's what powers your map listing. So that map 3-pack section, if you go to Google right now and look for carpet cleaning in your city, you're probably going to see some ads at the top. We'll talk about those in a second, but you're going to see a map section, usually with 3 listings in it. That map section is powered by your Google Business Profile. You probably already know a lot of this if you've been in business for a while. But that business profile, if you show up consistently in a top position, in one of those top 3 positions, if you have a lot of reviews and they're positive, right? If they're recent and positive, if you have photos, if you have that profile really filled out and doing some heavy lifting for you, you can book a lot of jobs through that free profile. So that's one area that you could focus on with Google. They have 2 ad programs that are relevant to cleaners. The first one would be a relatively new program. It actually came out several years ago now, but in the world of Google advertising, it's still relatively new. Local service ads, or you might have heard it called Google Guaranteed. That's an ad program where you pay per call. So if somebody searches on Google for a carpet cleaner near them, there's usually a carousel at the very top of Google with a couple of cleaners listed. It says Google Guaranteed, has their reviews next to them. If somebody clicks on your profile, likes what they see, and calls you, you get charged for that phone call. Those phone calls are getting a little more expensive than they used to be, but still worth investing in a program like that. If you need more calls, if you need more bookings, if you need more customers, that program is very popular. It's gotten a lot more popular, so it's gotten a little crowded. If you are running local service ads in your area 2 years ago, you might have been one of just a handful of companies doing it. In some markets now, we see 20 companies running local service ads on a daily basis. You'll look at the carousel and see literally 20 companies that are running ads on there. So it's getting more competitive. The cost per call has gone up, and that program's changed a little bit over time, but it's still a very powerful program. If you start running ads on Google local service ads and you feel like you've maximized the value that you have from that program and you want to move on to Google's bigger offering, Google Ads is what you're after. Google Ads powers a different set of ads on the Google search results page. A lot of people don't even notice that they're clicking on an ad when they click a Google ad because it just takes them straight to your website. Just as if somebody clicked on your website down in the organic rankings on Google, if somebody clicks on your Google ad, they're just going to go to your website. Those ads are sold on a cost per click basis. They're not on a cost per call basis, it's cost per click. So if you're going to invest in Google ads to try to drive people to your website, then make sure that your website is up to snuff. We talked about SEO earlier. If there's value to having a website and doing SEO these days, I think there is, but there's also value to having a website in that it enables you to run Google ads, which, like I said, local service ads is becoming a competitive platform. There's a lot of cleaners on local service ads. There are far fewer cleaners running Google ads. So if you want to set yourself up, cover what's available on Google, anything else you think we should?
Yeah. What's that? No, hold on a second. My dog is I'm at the shop, right? And the
Love it, man.
neighbor's knocking on the door. I'm gonna ignore it for now. And my dog's freaking out. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna mute you for a second. My
Yeah.
cell phone. Go
No
ahead.
worries, no worries. Those are really the top programs that you're going to want to know about in terms of Google. Start with your free Google business profile, get found on maps, get into local service ads if you want to drive some phone calls. And then Google Ads is a great program. I wouldn't invest in that program until you have a decent budget, until you have a decent website and you're working with a good partner who can help you out with it. But that program can bring you in more leads and cheaper leads than local service ads. And I find that it's more consistent these days than local service ads. So that's a really great program. If your business has been around for a while, or if you're already doing 10, 20 grand a month or something like that, and you've not gotten into Google Ads yet, that's a great next step for you. If you're really trying to scale from where you're at right now and you've already tried local service ads, then Google Ads is really the next step for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to bring some up really quick.
Yeah.
The front page of Google, so you give people an idea what they're looking at or what they'll want to look at. I'm going to get this here one moment. Give me a second. I think it's going to help people that want to get an idea of what you're
Yes.
describing earlier. This is awful. What a day.
Oh man, I got home so late last night. I've been traveling to conferences recently.
This is Las Vegas carpet cleaning.
Yeah. Cool, man.
So you want to describe that? I'm going to be right back. I got to get this door.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
of
take
course.
this over. Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a carpet cleaner in Las Vegas, this is typically what you're going to find if you're a customer. If you're a homeowner in the Las Vegas area and you're trying to find a carpet cleaner, you're going to be hit with a bunch of ads right away. Everything that you see right here on this screen right now is an ad. And that was something that Damon mentioned earlier. Google is really monetizing the first page of results these days. Anything that is like a keyword or a phrase that somebody would type into Google where somebody wants to buy something or hire somebody, Google's trying to get in there with some ads. And so if you're struggling, if you're not able to get found on Google by customers, if you're going, man, I have hundreds of reviews and nobody's finding me on Google, why is this happening? This is why it's happening. Google wants you to advertise. And Google's obviously, they're a for-profit business. They're trying to make a living for themselves, and they're making a great living. But if you want to make a great living with your cleaning business, then one way to do that is just play their game, right? Google is pushing these ads up above a lot of the organic content. So if your map listing is not getting seen as much, if your website's not getting seen as much, try these ads out. Try the Google Guaranteed program. That's not a hard program to get into. The requirements are not really strict. You only need a handful of reviews. You need insurance certificate, pass a background check. That program is very easy to get into. You don't need to work with like an advertising agency or a professional in order to get Google Guaranteed. So I think that's a good place for you to start. And if somebody, like I said, if somebody clicks on one of those ads and calls you, you're just going to get charged for the phone call. The other nice thing about that program is that if you get a phone call that's bogus, let's say somebody calls and says, hey, I'm just calling to see if you're hiring. Or, hey, I'm calling to see if you pour concrete and you're a carpet cleaning company. Then you can dispute those leads with Google. And in most cases, if it's pretty clear that this is not a legitimate lead, then you'll get your money back. And so that's one of the nice things about that program.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to bring up number 2 right now. And this would be Google ad. So when you scroll down just a little further from my desktop, by the way, Las Vegas carpet cleaning. So here you'll see the map results, which you referred to earlier.
Yep. So this would be if you scroll down past those ads. Like I said, Google's pushing all the ads to the very top. They want to make sure that whenever possible, somebody clicks on an ad. But if somebody scrolls past those ads and they want to see who's local to them, that's what a lot of people do. They scroll down to this map section because they want to find somebody who's local. And if you're a local cleaning business, your customers probably want to know that they're hiring somebody nearby and not somebody from halfway across the state. So the map section is really important for that. For local businesses, for local cleaners, this is where you really want to show up. This is your opportunity to shine. If you have a lot of reviews on your profile, then you're going to win this game easily. If you don't have a lot of reviews, if you've not really taken advantage of your profile and uploaded photos, then yours is probably not going to stand out compared to other listings in this map section. So take your time on this profile, really fill it out and make it your own, and try to show your best side in this area. That map section, it really draws a lot of clicks for these local searches, people looking for house cleaner near me, carpet cleaner near me, tile and grout cleaning near me. They're highly likely to click on this map section if they scroll past the ads. Yeah.
No,
The
no,
area underneath that.
Mhm.
The area underneath that is just the organic ranking. So if
Right.
your website shows up there, you're very lucky. You'll probably show up alongside Yelp and some other listings and then the big
Yeah.
franchise.
So I have a question. Now, if somebody wants to rank high in maps, because some people don't like local service ads, right? They don't like the amount of money, the requirements, et cetera.
Yeah.
So they prefer to be in the map section. To get ranked in the map section, is that going to be part of an SEO package or is that more of a luck of the draw? How do you get high up in maps?
Sure. A big factor with maps is proximity. So if you are near to the person who's searching, you're more likely to show up. And if your profile is, completely filled out and you have a lot of reviews, then you're even more likely to show up. There is some SEO that you can do to try to improve your rankings on maps. But one of the main concepts that I would try to keep in mind if your goal is to rank highly on maps, number one, get a lot of reviews on Google. You're not always going to rank number one if you have a lot of reviews on Google. If you look at this one right here, the number one alien steamers, they have 79 reviews, right? And Precision ChemDry has 267. The next one has 303 reviews. So the winner here, they don't even have the most reviews, right? But having a lot of reviews does help you get ranked higher. Those two things are correlated, right? Having more reviews is correlated with ranking higher. And it's also correlated with getting more clicks, right? So, Precision ChemDry may not rank number one here, but they're also highly likely to get clicked. So reviews are important. But the other big thing I want you to remember in terms of SEO and your Google business profile is that if you don't have your Google business profile, this map listing linked to a website, then you're less likely to show up. You really would benefit from having both a map listing and a website. If you're doing some SEO work on your website and your website ranks on the first page of Google, then typically your map listing is going to rank highly as well. Those two things go hand in hand. If one ranks high, the other one ranks high. So yeah, that's how I would think about it. There's some other stuff you can do to try to improve your listings on Google Business Profile, like posting frequently,
I was gonna
giving
ask about that
customers.
pictures and
Yeah, you
okay.
can post on your Google Business Profile just like you would on social. I would treat it a little bit differently. I think probably the most powerful thing you can do is just literally take your phone while you're out around town cleaning and just take pictures from your phone and post them directly to your profile while you're out and about. That's probably the best way to do it. You can also ask your customers to leave you reviews and mention the specific services that you offer. Like you guys did a great job on the carpet cleaning today, that kind of thing. But I wouldn't focus too much on like little hacks and tricks like that to try to rank highly. I would just focus on getting a lot of reviews and staying active and making sure that you look active.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, so SEO is not really going to play too much a role in maps. That's basically more up to you and how active you are and how diligent you are in making sure your phone and all that stuff matches and all those kinds of things, correct?
If you work with an SEO company, they will typically do something to help you out with your map listing. If they're any good, they will. But yeah, a lot of what happens on your Google business profile, the most impactful things that you can do are to post yourself. You can hire an agency to do that for you, but it is
Mhm.
more impactful if you do the post yourself.
Sure, sure. All right. And also in a big city like Las Vegas it's pretty large city, not huge, but big enough. Are we going to see different results in different parts of the city? So this is East Las Vegas. This is where I am, and that's where these three people are showing up, or these three businesses. If I'm in Summerlin, which is still Las Vegas, but on way on the other side of the city, am I going to see different results?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so that's where proximity starts to come into play again. Typically, Google's gonna wanna show you a business that's near, that's close to you, and that is rated, that looks like the best option for you. So proximity definitely plays a role here. If you are in the northeast part of town, then they're not gonna show you all the cleaners from the southwest part of town. They're gonna show you everyone from nearer to you. So it definitely will
Right.
change.
Okay. All right. This is the next one. This is a third page or third part of the page.
Yep.
So when you get below the maps and you get into this question and answer box,
Mhm.
there's a guy, do you get carpets clean? Is there 0% on the steamer? And is there anything to do that could get yourself in those people off also ask answer boxes?
There's some SEO tricks that you can do if you really want to go deep on this, but the reality is that what Google is doing here is taking information off of somebody's website and surfacing it in Google's results so that you don't even have to click through
Mhm.
to Zero Res or OxyFresh or whoever Google's scraping these FAQs from. Google's trying to surface that information right in their results. So you can try to capture these people also ask listings if you want to. I think you would use schema markup on your page in order to do that. You could use
Right.
FAQ schema and it may be helpful, but I think probably more useful would be to show up at the very top of Google, right? Typically, these FAQs are not going to show up right at the very top. People are going to be scrolling down and seeing these. I think
Yeah. And
they're
I wonder how many people actually click on it. Like how many people are actually going to read how to clean heavily soiled carpet. You know what I mean? I just,
yeah, I don't think this is going to drive a lot of business for anybody. It may drive a handful of clicks for somebody.
now I'll tell you one thing though, I would go into that Reddit post and get my company info in there if I could.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah, great idea.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up one more. And that's just gonna be the bottom of the page. Let me find that. A moment. Can you see the comments, by the way?
I'm seeing a couple here. Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, I'll bring those up in a minute. But anyway, this
Oh,
is
I
the
see
bottom
five.
of
You
the
know what?
page.
Now I see the comments.
You see now the bottom part we have sponsored again, related searches, then again, the Google local service ads.
Mhm.
So definitely that's something they want you to use.
Yeah, Google's putting ads all over the page. There's an ad at the top there. It says sponsored. There's ad 2 ads at the bottom there. Google really wants to get people to click those paid ads.
Okay. And how much can one expect to spend every month on Google Ads? It depends on the market size, but say, a population of 500,000 to 1,000,000 people. Do you have any kind of idea?
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything less than I wouldn't start any less than $1,000 a month. I used to recommend that you could start a little lower than that, but to be honest with you, with the cost per click that Google charges these days, with the amount of competition that you have, you really wanna come with a stronger budget. We found, over time working with cleaners at all different budgets that if you start with at least $1,000 a month, you're really giving yourself a better chance of success in terms of Google Ads. Local service ads, a different story. We could talk about that separately. But at least $1,000 a month. If you're in a more populated area or a more competitive area, you might honestly benefit from at least 1,500 bucks a month. I've got some clients who just come right out of the gate with 2,000, 3,000, and I think those are really healthy budgets. If you can swing that kind of a budget right from the start, you're going to do pretty well with your ads. You don't have to start that high, by the way. I know some people are $2,000, $3,000 a month, maybe a little strong for a new ad campaign. But if you believe in these ads and you know how much power they have, if you, maybe you've done this type of thing before and you know that you're going to book a lot of jobs from it, then don't mess around, right? Come with 2 grand a month instead of starting with 1,000 and trying
Yeah,
to
I mean,
get
the
you.
money rolls over. It's not like you got to use it in a month or something.
With the Google ad, if you tell Google to spend $2,000 this month, odds are they're going to spend your $2,000.
It wouldn't depend on market size or population
You can
or the keywords you're choosing.
if you don't have so there are some situations where if you put in a budget of $1,000 a month, you may not spend your full $1,000. I can think of a client right now who's in a smaller market who does not spend his full budget every month, but it has more to do with how restrictive we are on the keywords that we're targeting for him right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Blake Smith, who's a customer of mine, he's in Illinois. Yeah, he's getting all his business obviously off of Google Guaranteed. But then he had a follow-up question. This is regards to how much to spend on pay per click. He's in a small town in
Mhm.
southern Illinois
Mhm.
and about 20,000 people, as you can see in his comment. What would I know it's hard to say without doing research and stuff like that, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What would somebody that kind of population expect to spend on Google Ads?
Sure. I'm going to say it again. I think $1,000 a month is a good starting point for you. I think you will probably be able to spend that on search in your area, on search ads like the ones we were just looking at on Google, where somebody's clicking through and going through to your website. But if you are not able to spend that full amount on search ads, there's other things that you can do on Google Ads to try to actually and generate awareness. And so, Blake, if that's something you want to talk about, just hit me up after this. I'm happy to show you how it would work for a small location area to show you some results we're getting from some other clients in your situation.
Yeah. And then Frank had a question. If I were to hire someone to do my online SEO, social media, any suggestions? I do mostly PM commercial. My online has suffered greatly. Let me answer this actually. We're going to have Reuben's contact information at the end. Frank, I can tell you that Reuben's a really good guy, very approachable, not a pressure person, anything like that. I think he could definitely help you out. Frank's situation, though, I would like you to talk about because it's a little unique. He does primarily commercial
Mhm.
and property management. So he's not doing the normal consumer in a
Yeah.
home. He's really focused on a niche market, or not a niche market, but just a specific market, commercial. And when I did carpet clean, I did a lot of commercial and I actually got a lot of commercial work from Google, but they were never necessarily huge jobs. They were more like smaller, like offices, law firms, dentist offices,
Yeah.
things of that nature. They were great jobs. I loved them and I got them all the time and it was all organic. So I
Mhm.
think there is definitely work that can be had with Google and probably more organic, I would think, than necessarily pay per click on commercial. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same. There's not many people searching for commercial carpet cleaning on Google, like commercial carpet cleaners near me. Typically, those people are just going to use the same words as anybody else. They're going to say carpet cleaner near me, right? So what I've found is most helpful for cleaners who are trying to bring in more commercial work is to literally just put a commercial carpet cleaning page on your website. You don't have to run ads to it. Like I said, there's not that many people searching for the word commercial carpet cleaning anyways. You could
Mhm.
try to if you're in a really heavily populated area, there's a lot of search volume, you could give that a shot if you want to. But if you're in a smaller area, I wouldn't even bother. Put up a commercial page on your website, link to it
Right.
from the homepage and say we do commercial cleaning. On your commercial page, call out that you work with property managers. Say that you do rentals, that you do turnovers. Talk about how you benefit those property managers. My company did a ton of turnovers. We were a low moisture cleaning company. So obviously one of the benefits of that is if the carpet's dry in an hour, then a property manager can turn over the apartment very quickly.
Yeah.
Once word got out that we were a low moisture cleaning company that got it done, that we got great results, it dried quickly. We picked up a couple property managers just like by getting found on Google organically with good reviews and that kind of thing. But then property managers, like they have more properties, they'll send you more work. You may also get referred to other property managers. So I honestly, I think it's as simple as just putting on your website that you do commercial, that you help property managers. And that's really all that you need to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I used to do a lot of move outs myself. It's funny you say that. And I actually did it. I geared it more towards renters moving out, just property managers, but actual tenants. They at the end of their lease, because in Nevada, you have to have everything cleaned, floors professionally cleaned, et
Yeah.
cetera. And if you want to get the deposit back. And I would subcontract the cleaning work and like for the kitchens and bathrooms, and I would do the floors. We did really well with that.
Yeah.
And I had a page built just for that move in, move out services. And we're talking years ago when things were easier to do. And it was great.
Yeah.
A lot of work from that, a lot.
You can
So,
find local partners to help you out with that too
oh
if you
yeah,
don't want to subcontract it.
yeah,
We did a lot of move out cleanings too, and one of the things that we found is we were in the same space with a couple of house cleaners over and over again, and finally we just said, "Hey, why don't we just exchange information? And anytime we're doing a move out clean, we'll recommend you guys, and anytime you're doing one, you recommend us." And we ended up working out those deals with 2 or 3 cleaners in our area, house cleaners, and it led to a lot of business for us.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So now we talked about the importance of being online, the importance of having an online presence. Now, what do we do in order to convert these calls, right? So one
Yeah.
thing I see a lot of, let me just say really quickly, you and I talked about this before, is it seems like cleaners, and I don't know if it's a generational thing, I'm not sure what's going on, but more and more cleaners and more service people in general, they want everybody to book online. Go to the website, book online, pick the time, we'll come out there. For me, when I had work done, I've had work done around my house all the time. Even last year, I had the house painted, etc. I want to talk to whoever's coming out, particularly if they're coming in the home. Then I really want to
Absolutely.
have an idea who they are. I can understand everybody else wanting to do the same thing, housewives, whatever. And I'm sure some people don't mind booking online. So I'm sure some people prefer it. But to me, the art of conversation, the art of customer service, the ability to build rapport and all that stuff's really critical if you don't want to become a commodity. What are your thoughts on that? How do people really get down to the crust of this conversation? How do they convert more calls to jobs? Go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I watch a lot of cleaners try to jam online booking down their customers' throats, and I understand why it happens. And I've done the same thing in my past. It's easy to get excited about these tools and to think that this is going to solve all of your problems. That if you're out working with customers during the day, then let me just put up an online booking link on my website and everybody will book online and that'll be that. Some people will. We got plenty of online bookings. We used House Call Pro on our website and their online booking system works great. Really recommend that. If you're not using an online booking system yet, House Call Pro is a great one. Go check it out. But to be honest with you, I think most of our customers came in either through a phone call or through filling out a lead form or through chatting with the little chat capture thing that we had on our website. Most people came in through one of those channels first, and then they would book online either after they spoke with us or after they got a quote from us. Or sometimes they would just fill out the form and then immediately book online afterwards to save a spot on our calendar. But they typically wanted to request a quote from us. They wanted to call in, maybe just get that one last question answered or just confirm their price, make sure that there weren't going to be any surprises. There's always something that that a customer wants to ask before they book. And if you make online booking your only option, if that's the only option that they have in order to work with you, and if you're not responsive by phone, if you don't have a form they can fill out on your site or something like that, you're going to lose some customers. That's just the hard reality. Some people are going to go to your booking page and they're going to say, I don't have a critical piece of information that I need in order to complete this booking. I don't know if they do pet treatment. I don't know what they charge for stairs. I don't know if they're going to come at 9 o'clock or at 11 o'clock because it's not clear from your booking page. Or maybe they just want to talk with you and just hear that you're a decent human being before they allow you to come in their house. So there's all these reasons that people might go to your online booking page and then say, you know what? I'm not so sure about this. Or maybe they just get distracted and they walk away from their computer for a second or somebody interrupts them. I think the best thing that you can do, honestly, is to give people options. I'm not saying don't have online booking on your site. In this day and age, it'd be almost silly not to at least give people that option because you're going to get people who book online. That's
Right.
true.
Absolutely.
But you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you don't allow them to also click and call you, if you don't allow them to fill out a lead form. I know lead forms seem old school and like people aren't going to want to fill out all this information. Trust me, they do. We watch it happen all day long here at Book Cleaning Jobs. We've got lead forms all over the internet for cleaners, and they're just collecting leads all day long. We still use chat bots to collect leads for cleaners. Those do really well for us. Give people options. People want to communicate in different ways. You can try texting if you want to. Tell people to text you. Just put that on your website. Say, click to call, or you can text us, and people will text you if they want to.
We actually do that for in-cap store. We have a lot of people like text us questions about products and things like that,
Yeah.
equipment. We also have a chat bot, but we have more people call in than anything else.
Yeah.
Phone calls are definitely number one.
You want numbers? More than I think it's more than 50. If it's not more, it's about 50% of the leads that our clients get at Book Cleaning Jobs come in via phone. If you want to miss half of your leads, then force everybody to book online. But otherwise, I'd put your phone number on the site.
Yeah, and for the cleaners out there that command higher prices, that charge more than their market average, which is understandable, that's fine, but that's even more reason to get people to call you. Because if they just simply see a higher price and then book now, to me, that's a tough sell.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because again, you want to talk to that person and explain why you're better than everyone else or why you're the highest priced person in your area or one of the higher priced people. Yeah. So when you get somebody on the phone, and what's the next step? What are you going to do to convert that person into a job?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people online, here we go, they'll say that we have people that are price shoppers, which to me is an opportunity. We'll get your thoughts on it. Or they're not sure what they want. Da, da, da. I think a lot of times also the person that's answering the phone's under pressure because they're out there
Yeah.
working themselves. What are your thoughts on all that? How's that? What's the best way to address that? Increase your conversions.
Yeah. The number one way to increase your conversions is to just answer the phone. Most cleaners are missing phone calls. And we know that from looking at call data. We know that from looking at call recordings. If your phone rings, answer it. If you're in the middle of a cleaning job, get a Bluetooth headset, put it in, answer it. Your customers expect that you're busy. They know that your phone's going to be ringing with other customers calling, or at least it should be, right? Because you're a great cleaner. So answer those calls when they come in. If you miss a phone call, you're likely missing the opportunity to book that job. And if you do miss a phone call them back right away, like immediately. I don't mean like an hour later, 2 hours later when you get done with the job or at the end of the day. I have some people who say, I missed some calls today and I tried to get back to him the next day and I couldn't get a hold of him. And that's almost to be expected at that point. I think the statistic is a lead loses 80% of its value in the first 5 minutes. So if somebody calls you and you don't pick up the phone and you don't get back to them for 5 minutes, there's an 80% chance that person's gone. They've already booked somebody else to do the job. So responsiveness is probably number one.
Yeah,
Um,
they're just calling down the list, whether
Absolutely.
it's maps or whatever.
You got
And
options.
yeah, if you're paying, let me ask you a question. If you're using a Google guaranteed campaign and you miss that call or you call that number back, are you still being charged for it? How does that work?
Yeah. If you miss the call, you should not be charged. If you call them back, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what happens.
Yeah.
Good, but the thing is you don't wanna miss a call if you're doing Google Guaranteed. If you are getting calls from local service ads, you really need to answer the phone. Google can tell if you're picking up the phone or not, and if you are not answering those calls, Google will stop sending them to you. They will send them to somebody who's more responsive. So that is something that Google yeah. Missed calls are charged. There you go, Blake. Thank you so much for filling us in there. Yeah,
I'm going to bring this up from Leo really quick, and then we'll go back into the call conversion
yeah.
conversation. But I've had some success on using Valpak. Do you think direct mail holds a valuable place in marketing? It's a very good question, actually. What are your thoughts, Reuben?
Hey, 100%. Yeah, direct mail it's been around forever. It's gonna be around for a long as people have mailboxes. Put something in there. Especially these days, most people are just sending emails, right? Most companies have gone to, we're going to send emails because that's cheaper. We can do it more often. It's just more efficient for them. A lot of people are not investing in direct mail anymore. I don't get a lot of direct mail pieces in my mailbox anymore. And when I do, when I get interesting ones, like I honestly save them. Sometimes I get coupons for things that I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to shop for that later anyways. I will literally save this coupon and use it. If you're a home service company,
I collected because I think it's interesting. I was
yeah,
actually going to make a post about it, and I'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, direct mail is a great way to stand out. Put an offer on there, put a coupon on your direct mail, give people a reason to call you. Valpak's great for that. Their whole system is around coupons, right?
Mhm.
People like that. There's people who are coupon shoppers, and if your pricing is set up where you can do that and take advantage of coupons, then go for it. I think direct mail in general, though, is a good move. If you are not sending direct mail to your existing customers, that's a big miss. One of the easiest things that you can do with direct mail is to just send postcards, reminders in the mailbox to your existing customers. I always did a 7-day thank you postcard to every single customer that we served. 7 days after we cleaned for that, they got a postcard with it was a $10 off coupon at the time, right? Big
Yeah.
discount,
Yeah.
$10. But man, people save those coupons and they would hand us those postcards back the next time we cleaned for them and say, "Hey, I got this in the mail. I want my $10 off." Or they would say, "I lost my postcard and I want my $10 off." People got really obsessed with these $10 off postcards.
Yeah.
Send a step day thank you. I used to send a 6-month reminder. Direct mail is great for that kind of thing. Direct mail for people that you have not worked with before is a little bit of a different story and a different strategy. There are some things you can do to improve your direct mail campaigns if you're mailing people that you've never worked with before. So maybe getting on Valpak, it could be something to look at because you're going to get in there with other advertisers. Or you're going to get opened by people who look at Valpak, right? There's people who open those and look at them every month. But if you're going to mail people who've never worked with you before, one of the more popular strategies that I've seen is farming neighborhoods that you want to be in, and then
Yeah.
hitting those same neighborhoods over and over
Send
again.
Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that the repetition kind of works on those
Yeah.
people and they start to recognize you in their inbox or in their,
Absolutely.
mailbox rather.
Let me show that. I'm gonna show this really quick. This is a piece of marketing material that this is a real estate agent who works in my community, and he sends out these cards, are oversized postcards,
Yeah.
every few months or so. And I actually see his signs occasionally. So I mean, it definitely works because his signs pop up, right? But then I also get this hand letter with a
Mhm.
stamp, important info, my name on it, Damon Williams, the whole 9 yards, right? In the back has our little return information. And then inside, there's a card with a heart on it. And then inside, there's, show this here. We have the postcard with our business card, all handwritten. This isn't
Wow.
computer written. This is actually handwritten.
Wow.
So you got to wonder, and I see their signs. But I see more of their signs in my neighborhood, my general community, than I do this guy.
Mm,
Even though his has a lot of color to it, it's cool, has a little horse on, it's catchy. More people are going to answer this,
yeah.
or not answer, I should say, open it. There are more people
Yeah.
going to open this, way more,
Yeah.
and they're actually going to take the time to read it versus this guy. One more example, I'll say really quick. I got this in the mail, handwritten quote thing for, I think it's for Windows or something. This is handwritten text on it. See it or not? It's also pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I think envelopes really make a big difference because people are going to wonder what's in here.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
nobody
mean?
sends you real mail anymore. It's either a
No.
bill or it's junk mail. When I
Right.
moved into my new house last year, it was funny, I got a handwritten letter like that from a tree trimmer. And why it was funny to me is because whoever sold him the list did him wrong. We don't have any this is a new neighborhood, there's no big trees here, there's nothing to trim. So there was no point in sending me that letter, but it was like a handwritten letter. It looked fantastic. It was on really nice quality paper and a nice envelope, and I sure as hell opened it and looked at it.
Right. Absolutely. Blake has another good question, but we're going to get to that one in a minute. Blake, just hang tight. So let's get back to the phone call. Answering the phone call is important, not rushing the phone call, I would say,
Mhm.
to get them to answer. What else would you advise to people in order to convert more calls? Let's say, for example, price shoppers, right? Somebody calls, hey, what's your rate for 3 rooms in a hallway? Or, you know what I mean? That classic kind of thing that everybody freaks out about.
Yeah.
How would you handle those calls? And how would you actually convert those into a customer?
Yeah. So to be perfectly honest with you, we were really straightforward with customers when we were on the phone with them. I ran my cleaning business. We had a lot of phone calls coming in every day. We would get like 50 phone calls per day.
Wow.
Yeah, during the summer months, we were very busy.
It's incredible.
It
Awesome.
was so our goal was to get through the calls quickly, to get to the booking quickly. The thing is, you gotta know your pricing like the back of your hand, and you've got to be confident in your pricing, and you've got to get to that price and then to getting the job booked as quickly as possible. And there's a couple of ways that you can go about this. I've seen people do it successfully a couple different ways. So work on what feels comfortable to you and what works best for you. Just work on that until you really feel like you've improved the process, but be confident, I'd say is number one. I listen to a lot of calls from cleaners who are new in the business and they get a phone call from somebody who asks them, "How much would you charge for 3 rooms and a hall and a staircase?" And the cleaner starts to fumble, "But we charge this much for the 3 rooms. And you really can't respond that way. You have to know your pricing on the back, like literally like the back of your hand. Get them the price as quickly as possible and then tell them what's included. So the way I used to handle calls is we would get a call from somebody that would say, "Hey, this is so and so. I'm calling to get a quote for carpet cleaning. I got 3 rooms in a hall." Great. Thanks for calling. 3 rooms is going to be $149. The hallway is going to be $20. Your total will be $169.99. That's going to include vacuuming, pre-treatment, cleaning, and deodorizing. If you need pet treatment, we offer that as well. And I got availability as soon as this Thursday, right?
Mhm.
Get the information out as quickly as possible. Give them the quote, give them what's included, and tell them what your availability is, and then ask them if they're ready to book. That's what worked best for me.
Would you overcome a lot of these price shoppers? Would you have an idea what your conversion rate was? It's been a few years, but you
Yeah,
had to estimate.
it has been a couple of years. I think that with the really hardcore price shoppers, like somebody who would say 3 rooms for $149 is too much, we didn't try to win those customers, to be honest with you. We tried to make sure they knew what was included, that some other cleaners, they might upcharge you for some of the things that we include in our standard service, like deodorizer and pre-treatment. That was always included for us. And I might just mention that value. And then I would usually tell them that if they decide they want to get this booked, just give me a call back and I would let them off the hook that way. I didn't usually try to win over price shoppers, mostly because we had so many calls coming in and we had the luxury of doing that. If
Mhm.
you are hungrier, then you can certainly try to lean in and try to build your value. I wouldn't negotiate your price down. I would never do that. But you could try to build up your value and mention the fact that you're including stuff that other cleaners are going to upcharge for. No hidden fees is a big thing that you can mention. A lot of people are nervous that they're going to end up paying twice as much when you show up. So if you're not going to upcharge them for random stuff, if the job price is not going to double the second you walk in the door, then make that clear to them on the phone that, yeah, it's $149.99 for 3 rooms, but that's all you're going to pay. It's not going to be a surprise charge the second I get there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Some people are very quick to cut off the price shoppers, but a lot of times, in my opinion, price shoppers, they don't know what else to talk about. So if they're asking a price, it's because a lot of times they're just not sure what they should or should not ask. Or I think in some respects, it can be an opportunity. It really just comes down to, again, in my opinion, how much time you're willing to spend on the call. And being hungry, like you mentioned, is really important. But to me, if you just take a couple of minutes and try to engage them a little bit, more times than not, if you talk about your process, what you do that a lot of other cleaners don't, and how the fact that you can even ask them this: "When was the last time you did carpet clean?" It's been 2 years or 3 years. We'll say, "Look, yeah, we're going to be $30 or $40 more for the job, or $50 more, but
Yeah.
we're talking about every 2 years you're doing this, and what's that worth it to you?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people it could resonate with them. And one thing that I noticed is that I would actually get people that would call me back later on
Mhm.
because they either had a bad experience using a low price cleaner or they would call back much sooner and say, I talked to other people. Well, I really liked you better. You're really nice. Took the time to talk to me. I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and book with you. And it happens. So I think if you have the time, it's worth it. So that brings up another question, time. And Gary Heighton's here in the chat. He actually has a pretty cool operation. He's booking a lot of the jobs during the day and he sends out it, which is really ideal.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Can a cleaner out there in the field really convert calls in a meaningful way versus being at home or having someone book the calls or using a VA? But then a VA is a tremendous risk because they don't have any skin in the game like you do. So
Yeah.
are they really going to try? How do you really figure that out as part of your business? Because I'm telling you, the phone and the service is critical.
Yeah.
Like you can't get around it. Go ahead and tell me your thoughts.
Before I get into that, I just want to, what you just said is so important. If you take the time with people, answer their questions, and you're decent to them on the phone, even if they don't book you right then and there, oftentimes people are going to call you back and say, I want to hire you after all. I talked to 2 other cleaners and I wasn't impressed with either of them. And now I want to book you. Or sometimes you'll hit what Damon just said. I hired somebody else and they screwed it up and now I want you to come fix it.
Mhm.
So it pays to just be like decent with every single person who calls. Even if you get the sense they're a price shopper, just tell them the price, what's included. If they question the price, somebody said, point them to your before and after pictures. I used to point them to my reviews. We're number 1 rated for a reason. I think it's important to just to talk with people and be just a decent human being. It's a customer service business, right? We may be in the cleaning business, in the cleaning industry, but it's really a customer service business at the end of the day. To answer your question about whether you can really efficiently book jobs in the field, my belief is that it's very difficult to do, that you'll book more jobs if you can get out of the van. And that was my goal from day one when I started my business. I hired and had somebody join me as a helper, I think 3 or 4 months into my business. And the main reason that I did that is because I needed to be able to answer calls. I noticed that when I was in the house with customers, sometimes it was awkward to answer a call. Sometimes I was in the middle of an inspection or doing something loud, like cleaning upholstery, and I just couldn't, like, I could not answer the phone or felt like I could not answer the phone. And I knew I was leaving money on the table. And that really started to bother me. So I did the mental math on, should I step outside and take these calls and try to book these jobs? Or should I just hire somebody right now? And in hiring somebody, I'll free myself up to answer the phone and book more jobs, which will get us busier, which will help me grow the business faster. That's ultimately the route I went. I'm really glad that I did, because as soon as I hired a helper, it freed me up to step outside to the van anytime I needed to take a call or to call somebody back and book a job. And our booking rates went way up just because I was willing to be, or I was able to be more responsive. That experience led me to hire a second person pretty quickly. I want to say it was like 6 months or 8 months into business. I had a second person in the van. I ran 2 people per van, and I stepped out and I answered the phone full time from then on. And I think it was a big move. It allowed me to focus on, trying to put systems in place to train these employees and keep them doing a great job so that we could get better reviews, but also just to answer calls, be more responsive, and grow the business by just not missing any calls that were coming in. I think that was the right move for me. And if you're struggling to answer calls while you're out there in the field, man, it may be time for you to hire. It might be time to
Yeah, you got to
start
make the
scaling up.
investment, and
Yeah.
which is more important, having somebody book the calls that's
Mhm.
going to convert the calls, build the rapport, convert the price shoppers, do all these important things, or the tech work. And they're
I
both
think,
important. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
But is it easier to have somebody out there in the field whose job is to basically perform the work, right? Clean the carpet, clean the tile and grout, or having someone that's actually going to book those calls, potentially set the stage for your add-ons to make the job for the tech easier to look for opportunities, right? In the home, if they're maybe not a great salesperson or a great conversationalist, but better way to put it.
yeah,
Right. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think being able to have someone who's going to build rapport because they're hiring you,
yeah.
they're hiring the person on the phone a lot of times
Mhm.
before and first and foremost.
I think it's most important to answer your own phones. I think for some people, if you're not good on the phone and you're not willing to put the work into it, and you just can't
It's a
can't seem to
service
make,
business. You're in the wrong business.
yeah, you're probably in the wrong business, first of all. You gotta think about who's most motivated to book these jobs. Who's most motivated to increase your average ticket? Who's most motivated to win these customers? It's probably you. It's not gonna be somebody that you hire to answer your phones. It's not gonna be some VA. It's not gonna be some phone answering service that you found on Facebook. You're most motivated to book these jobs. And customers, they really wanna hear from you, right? They're calling you. If you're a small business and you're just getting started, customers love to hear you answering the phone. They can ask you directly how things are going and how do you do things? What's going to happen when people show up to my house? Is it going to be you? And you have the opportunity actually then to just say, actually, no, it's not going to be me. It's going to be my employee so and so that's going to be there. And that's just fine too. They expect that. But I think you're literally best used on the phone, booking your own jobs and then hiring people to go out in the field and do the cleaning for you. That's my opinion. I think that if you're in the cleaning business, hire cleaners. Don't hire office staff. I wouldn't hire office staff until I absolutely had to. My goal would not be to have a whole bunch of overhead built into my business because I have somebody sitting in an office somewhere answering the phone half the time and maybe sending some emails here and there. My goal is to put cleaners in vans and put them in people's houses and have them making some money for us. And I can answer the phones.
Yeah. Frank made a couple of good points. I'm going to get to those in a second, but I want to bring up Gary's first. And I was actually going to bring this up as well. I'm now doing in-house quotes for grout cleaning. I do a quick demo on a 2 square foot area, measure their tile, leave a quote and lead. I get a higher percentage of people that contact me after the grout dries compared to just giving a quote over the phone. So in-house estimates, that's a two-prong approach, right? You have somebody who's really good at answering the phones. Then you have somebody who's really good out there, going out there in the field and making those appointments in person. And I would assume that's like a 1-2 punch for like a 100% conversion rate, right? Assuming that you're in a market that allows you to drive around. In Vegas, that would be very difficult because
Yeah.
you'd have calls in Henderson, you have calls in Summerlin and the Southwest and North Las Vegas and be driving all over town. Gary's in a small area, so it's more achievable. But long story short, is it worth the investment to go out there and do the in-house
Mhm.
appointments when you can.
For your higher ticket services, yeah, it's probably worth going out and doing the in-house estimates. If you're doing tile and grout cleaning and sealing, have a decent minimum, make it worth your time. But I think it's worth going out to do estimates for that type of thing. For residential carpet cleaning, for upholstery cleaning, for rug cleaning, I always stayed away from doing in-house estimates. Unless it was a commercial job, I wasn't going to come out and quote the job in person for any reason. If it was a commercial job, yeah, of course, I'll come out and take a look.
Commercial always, yeah.
Property management, yeah, I'll be right out there. I'll stop by on my next break. But for a residential carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning job, no, I want to quote it over the phone. These days, it's so easy to get people to just send you pictures of what they need done. You can give them an
Mhm.
estimate. And even if you're getting into tile and grout cleaning, that kind of thing, ask them to text you some pictures and you can probably give them a rough estimate over the phone. But if you are a good salesperson and if you're going to do a great demo for them and they're really going to be wowed, I have some clients who are, they're just very charismatic. I know that if they get in the door at somebody's house, they are going to knock that homeowner off their feet. Whatever they're selling, that homeowner is going to buy. If that's your personality, yeah, man, get out there, do some in-house estimates, win those jobs. I think that's a great way to do business. I just wouldn't go out to do an in-house estimate for anything less than, I don't know, 800 bucks, 1,000 bucks, something like that. I wouldn't go out for small.
Yeah, I think that's what Gary's referring to. He's doing it on tile and grout. And
Yeah.
on the higher price tickets, I definitely see that being worth it. Maybe something where you're doing Rex Pro or who
Yeah.
knows, different services. But I do think it's a great way to convert. I know Eric Olson does it on carpet stretching because they charge
Hmm.
a premium for that. Hardwood floors,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, Gary's right. For carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, I couldn't see that happening. Frank's had a really good point here on something he talks about is going back to objections earlier. My go-to is say my job is to get the carpets as clean as possible. Price depends on what steps I have to do based on condition.
Mhm.
And I guess a great way to overcome price shoppers, the reality of it. Because if you say you're going to clean rooms for $15 or $18 a room, whatever it is, and there's going to be up to extra charges. So I think that's a great way to approach that and overcome it. I'll say if you're looking for the lowest price and price points are concerned that we're probably not for you, that can work if you say
Mhm.
it the right way, if you're polite about it.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Anyway, I thoughts on hiring a VA to book your jobs. I would be nervous about that personally. I know a couple of people like that.
Yeah.
It does still require no matter what salesmanship. And I got to say something really quick.
Yeah.
I actually did a quote like 10 years ago. It was commercial. I did all my commercial quotes in person, no matter what, unless it was really small. I was
Mhm.
going out there to do it. But this was for a big plumbing place here in Las Vegas. And we have Gettle out here and a couple of these huge operations, the private equity, massive. And I went to this place and it was huge, thousands of square feet, perfect inside, perfectly perfect in terms of the cleanliness. Everybody wore hoodies inside. It was insane. It was like a little army, you know what I mean? So in terms of the regiment, the structure, and the cleanliness. And then a call center in there. And it was like maybe 8 or 10 people. That's how big this operation was. And they had a big screen in this whole call center and they were booking jobs. They had a little screen up there, how many jobs they were booking. It was like a real sales operation.
Yeah.
And I think unless you hire that kind of person, which is hard, you really got to do it yourself. And if you don't have that kind of personality, it's going to be tough. Like I know Gary does. Gary has that kind of personality. Gary has that kind of personality. I'm sure Blake does. But if you don't have that kind of engagement with people, you're going to struggle. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta have some personality in this business. That's all there is to it. I always tell people this is a customer service business. The cleaning business is all about customer service. When I hired cleaners that to come work for me, I didn't hire people with cleaning experience. I hired people with customer service experience. I wanted to know that you knew how to talk to people and treat them right, and I could teach you how to do the cleaning. And honestly, the same thing goes for the people answering your phones. I handled all of our phone calls until probably the last 2 years in business when I actually handed it over to my wife, the next most trusted person after myself, and she did an amazing job. But it's hard to hand over the phone to somebody, and if you're going to do it, hand it over to a pro, somebody with a great personality, somebody who can really take those calls. And if they can book it and close at a higher rate than you can, great. That's going to be hard to find though. I was just talking with a couple business owners last week about this. And one of them is letting a member of her sales team go this week because their numbers have been so bad. And she's planning this business owner is planning to step back in and handle some of her sales calls again. And she does millions of dollars a year in her business. But the reason she's stepping back in to do sales calls in her multi seven figure business is because it's such an important role. You can't just let anybody and everybody answer your calls and do your sales. If you are dependent on bringing in new customers every day, you need people who can really handle that job, right? You can't just have people who are okay at it. You're going to get really okay results if you don't hire people who are serious about customer service.
Yeah. Yeah. Blake here has a little statement here. All customers feel like we can sit down and Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, that's
I love it.
again, they hire you. They're not
Yeah,
hiring they're not hiring your OP machine or your truck mount. It's all based on how much they like you. You can frankly do not great work or not get great results, something you wouldn't try to get great results. But have a job where you go like, wow, I thought this would come out better, but they're still gonna call you back. They're still gonna hire you 'cause they believe you, they trust you, and they like you.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more important, honestly. I think it's more important than the results in a lot of cases. The results matter, sure, but people really want to feel like they hired the right person and they made a good decision. People want to be affirmed that they made a good decision. If you show up and you're a jerk, or if you're a jerk on the phone, they're going to immediately feel like they made a bad decision calling you.
Absolutely. So tell us just very quickly to wrap this up, what it is that you do, how you help cleaners,
Sure.
and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah. I run a company called BookCleaningJobs. We're an agency, a marketing agency that helps cleaners predominantly with getting on Google. So if you're trying to get found on Google, if you want customers to find you on Google in your local area, reach out to me, bookcleaningjobs.com. I'm happy to talk with you about it. Really these days focus on helping cleaners scale their business. So if you're doing somewhere around 10 or $20,000 a month and you're wanting to scale from there, give me a call. Happy to talk with you about your goals and how you can get there. And yeah, bookcleaningjobs.com. That's pretty much it. I'm on YouTube too. So if you want to look for us on YouTube, we're at Book Cleaning Jobs.
Yeah, yeah. And are you do you do SEO on websites as well, or do you predominantly just focus okay.
Yeah,
Like
we do websites, we do SEO, we do Google ads, we can help you get Google guaranteed. We can help with your social media, your Google business profile. We have an all-in package that I think is usually best for most of our clients. And that's what most people come to us for. But just give us a call. I'm happy to talk with you about your goals and we can find something that works best for you.
yep, and we go bookcleaningjobs.com at the bottom of the screen. Do you ever any kind of free consultation for people watching the webinar that might want to reach out to you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, bookcleaningjobs.com. Like I said, you can book time to speak with me. Those calls are always free. I'm happy to talk with you about what's been going on in your business, things you've tried, what's working, what's not working, what your goals are, and how you can get there. I'm always happy to do those. I've heard really great feedback from cleaners who said those calls were really helpful to them. So if that's
Mhm.
something that you think you benefit from, please give me a call, book time with me. I'm happy to talk with you about your cleaning business.
Yeah, you actually talked to a friend of mine, Stephen Meyer, and he was very happy. I don't know if he's working with you yet or if he's planning on it, but he reached out to me and said how great it was. So that's one of the reasons I'm having you on here now.
Yeah, give me a
So
call, Steven. Let's get that going soon. I'm excited about it.
hopefully he's watching. Um, okay. And last thing, someone forgot to ask earlier, landing pages. Do you recommend those?
I think a landing page is a good tool. I think there's been a lot of fuss made about landing pages over the years. Everyone seems to think that a landing page is the answer. You have to have a landing page for your Google Ads campaign. I have found that if you just have a decent website and you build your website so that it converts at a high rate, meaning people come to your website and a large percentage of people come to your website and either click a call button or they fill out a form or they chat with your chatbot. If you build your website with all those functions in place already and it's high converting, then just send all of your ad traffic and all the people to your website. You don't really need a separate landing page. You can have a separate landing page if you have a specific campaign that you're trying to promote, like maybe you have a $50 off coupon or something like that, or some kind of a special campaign that you want to run. You can use landing pages for that. But by and large, I would recommend just getting people to your website. I think that for a home service company, people expect that they're going to come to your website and be able to poke around a little bit, right? See what services you offer. And I think sometimes a landing page just doesn't do a good enough job of fully selling your services. I know that from running ads for cleaners that come to us and they don't have a website, so we build them a landing page. We get good results with the landing pages. When we build them a full website and we run the ad traffic there, we get really great results. So I think it's probably more important to invest in your website, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Let me say really quick, thanks for the time. I appreciate it very much. You did a great job. I think everybody here that's watching agreed. It's a small audience, but we're gonna get this in the group, and hopefully we'll do this again. And yeah,
Yeah.
again, this with Facebook canceling third party apps for that really messed us up because we had tons of views when we were doing these previously. People will watch it, so I do appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course.
Frank has one last quick question, then we'll wrap this up. How important is social media, Facebook, TikTok ads, etc., or TikTok, etc.?
Man, I would not ignore TikTok, to be honest. I know there's a lot being made of TikTok right now with the ban and everything, but it has grown like wildfire. It is a massive platform and you can really get a lot of exposure on there. I would be looking at TikTok. I would be looking at Instagram. If you're not already on those platforms, definitely something to look into. It's also a pretty good platform to be on. I have cleaners who are getting a lot of views on their shorts. Now they're a little untargeted, but you can get a lot of exposure on YouTube as well. I think social media is going to continue to be a great place for cleaners to be and to interact with their customers. One of the things that I've really noticed in the last couple of years is that where a lot of us are focused on, we're going to build a website, we're going to run some ads on Google, or we're going to run some ads on Facebook. I have suddenly started seeing a lot of cleaners show up where they spin up their whole cleaning company with nothing but an Instagram page or a TikTok page, and they get in front of people in their local audience, in their local market, with nothing but an Instagram or a TikTok, and they start booking jobs, and boom, they're in business. I would not ignore these social media platforms. If you're not on them yet, get on them, and be aware of competitors that are there, because you might have competitors in your local area that you don't even know about because they don't have a website. They might just be on Facebook, they might just be on Instagram, or they might just be on TikTok.
Yeah, and to your point, I think it just reinforces the whole idea that it's all about engagement, right? Because when you're on TikTok with your Instagram, you're talking to people.
Yeah.
You're supposed they get to know you. It's depending on how well how good your content is. If you make it personal, if you're in there, if you're talking, if you're encouraging
Mhm.
conversation, then you're doing everything we talked about earlier. You're engaging. The one advantage of social media. However, the one drawback I think is that you're going to hit a ceiling. There's going to be a ceiling with Instagram. There's going to be a ceiling because more people go to Google anything else. That's still the
Yeah.
case. I think that's going to be the case for a long time because there's certain credibility that Google brings that TikTok and Instagram won't.
Yeah.
So I agree it'll get you work, but I think again, it's just there's a peak. Would you agree with that?
I would, and a lot of the cleaners that I was talking about, these especially it's usually younger guys. I have a new client right now I'm thinking of, Giovanni, he's out there, so maybe he's listening to this. He started his business just on Instagram. His whole cleaning business just started on Instagram. He started bringing in customers that way, and he hit a ceiling, right? And now he's circling back and coming to us to do a website and an ad campaign and to get found on Google because of that ceiling, right? He wants to blow past that point and continue growing his cleaning business. There's still a lot of people searching on Google. If you want to tap into the biggest stream of cleaning customers, that's really where you want to be. But don't be afraid to experiment with these social platforms, especially if you're just starting out or if you're trying to expand your operation a little bit. If you have a great personality, like if you're one of those guys who can go in home and do sales and do a demo and close people and people just love you, and get on social, get in front of a camera, get on YouTube, get on Instagram, do some stories, like just get yourself out there and people will engage with you. Don't be worried about haters or comments or anything like that. Just don't worry about that kind of stuff. Just get started. People want to hire and work with real people.
Yeah.
And we're getting into the world of AI, and we don't know if people are real or not these days. Man, just be real. You'll book more
Yeah, I
jobs.
think people are going to reject that. I don't think people want to deal with covert robots and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's a real turnoff when people suddenly figure out they're talking to a robot, like on a
Mhm.
phone call, things like that. People reject that, which is
Yeah.
understandable. People make people feel good.
Yeah.
And I really believe that.
We're social animals. We want to be
Right.
around other people. We want to
Exactly.
relate to people like us.
Exactly. All right. Great conversation. I really appreciate the time. That was awesome. Gary Height is we calling you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We booked a call for you.
Cool.
Gary's an
All right.
awesome guy. Take great care of him. If he's
Can't wait to talk with you, Gary.
yeah. Ruben, I'll talk to you later on. And again, thanks. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. And I'll make an announcement for next week's chat and we'll hopefully have Ruben on again in the future.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a great
Damon.
night.
Everybody.